It's the learning that kills most businesses. It's not the lack of cash flow, the lack of sales. It's that they don't have time to learn it all. Hopefully today we're going to teach you a little bit of it so you get over those humps. Now, we move up from self-employed business to where you have your own business. You've started to employ people. You're now a manager. So hopefully the manager training you got when you worked for someone else is paying off now because you're managing people within your own company. It's a great step. You've employed some people. Again, if the seesaw is what it looks like it's self-employed, it's the round and round in circles chasing your own tail that it feels like when you're a manager. See, most people that employ other people, you know what they end up doing? To heck with it, I'm going to sack a lot of them and go back to when it was just me. It's not a good move. Now, you may not have done it right, but that doesn't mean you haven't learned a lot about how to do it right. I remember when I was 21. And I went to my dad in one of my businesses and I said, you know, Dad, I just can't get good people. You know what his answer to me was? It was real simple. He said, Brad, you get the people you deserve. Thanks, Dad. Real motivational, my dad was. What he was saying to me, though, was simple. I wasn't leading a good business. I wasn't running a good business. Therefore, I wasn't attracting great people to work within my company. Great people want to work for great companies. You got to remember that fact and build a great company that will attract all those great people for you. Now, once you've managed your own business, then you've got to step up and lead your own business. It's the next step up the active, passive cash flow ladder. A lot of people say to me, but what if I just want to keep a job? That's great, but you're not going to climb the active to passive. What you're going to always be trapped is with your time is going to be trapped in that situation. Ultimately, then we get to a business owner. Now, if you watch my How to Grow Your Business segments, you'll see how I define a business. It's very different to most. But ultimately, we want to be a business owner. Our income is passive now. We don't have to go to work. If we choose to go to work, we can. If we don't choose to go to work, we don't have to. We can play golf, we can go to the beach, or we can use our time to invest in other things. We can go and build. We can be philanthropic. All of the things we can do now, we climb the active-passive ladder, and we've achieved stage one. What was stage one, remember? Income rich. That's stage one. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the second stage to build our house. The first stage is climbing the cash flow ladder. So what's the second ladder? The capital ladder. We got to climb the capital ladder. So let's examine what that capital ladder looks like. At the bottom of the capital ladder, you'll see here, we've got buying assets, and at the top, you've got creating assets. Now, assets is part of our capital ladder, so let's examine how and why we do all of that stuff. Because there's several different steps to moving it through. So let me put them up on the screen for you. Each stage of doing this is vitally important. You'll notice at the bottom we work through retail, then we go through wholesale, and then we go through selling. Well, what the heck's all that mean? Let's start here. When you go to buy assets, there's three different asset classes you're going to have to learn to buy. Number one, businesses. You have to learn how to buy businesses, how to build them up, and how to sell them up. Next, you're going to have to learn how to buy property, real estate. You're going to have to learn how to invest in that. Now, a lot of people say to me, but I want to leave it to someone else to invest. Listen, you are the best money manager you'll find. No one cares more about your money making money than you do. See, stage one, the cash flow ladder, is about you making money. Stage two, the capital ladder, is about that money you make on the cash flow ladder, turning it into money that makes money on the capital ladder. You've got to follow these two stages. So here we are, we've learned business investing, we've learned property investing. Last one on the list, share market investing. Now take a look at that. What does that equal? Income, asset, paper. Our first three strategies we talked about today. Now, there's three levels within this ladder that we got to discuss. Number one is retail, number two is wholesale, and number three is the selling level. So where does that start? Well, at retail level. Let's say you're a brand new property investor, and I'll use property and shares the way through so that it makes a lot of sense for people. You're a brand new property investor. You really don't know a lot about it. You really don't know where you should be looking. You really don't know how to negotiate yet. You don't know the fine details. So even though the market is growing and the market is moving, or the market may be slowing down, as a retail investor, you're going to be paying retail prices. You don't know what you're doing enough to be able to negotiate to buy stuff at a wholesale rate. It's going to happen with businesses. See, your first business, I always recommend franchises for your first businesses. Why? You got enough to learn without having to recreate the whole thing. So in your first few businesses, you should be looking at a franchise just from a learning point of view. Yes, you'll earn well, but you're going to learn as well. So retail property, you might go out and buy something that someone else has built and developed so you can buy it as an investment. It's not something you're going to fix up or you're going to develop. It's something that someone else has done and you're buying. Shares. When you're an initial investor, you don't go and buy wholesale shares. You don't get involved in IPOs. You don't get involved. You go and buy mutual funds. You go and put money in your IRA. You buy even certificates of deposit. It is that low that you get to. And the point is you're paying retail rates for those. You're not getting any wholesale discounts. You're not getting any professional investor or sophisticated investor discounts in any of these marketplaces. But that's stage one, retail. Now what's the biggest challenge with retail? You got to learn. You got a lot of learning to do at the retail level. Again, we then move up to the wholesale level. Now you've learned a bit. So you've learned about buying businesses. You've learned a bit about how to run businesses. You may have run one or two or three yourself. And what happens is now you learn how to go and buy them wholesale, how to buy them at a discounted rate, how to buy a business that someone else has started and they may have messed it up, and you learn how to buy that at a really great rate. My book, Billionaire in Training, goes into that one in a lot of detail. Then we go and look at property investment, how to buy them at wholesale prices, how to go and negotiate, how to get them at the right price, how to buy properties that are able to be developed, able to be fixed up, maybe renovated properly. And I'm not talking about the ones you see on the television shows where people mess it up so much. I'm talking about ones which you can buy and do real well out of in a fairly interesting time. My book, The Real Estate Coach, goes into a lot more detail on that one. So let's take a look at how that fits. The wholesale buying of businesses. If we take a look at that, we've now reached that wholesale stage. So what's next? The wholesale buying of properties. See, you've obviously invested in a couple at that retail level. You've learned about where to buy them, what you should be looking for, how to, all of those areas of buying a property that are going to be vital for you in your growth and in the future. Now, the way that I see that you're looking at that is that knowledge you built up at that retail level is going to assist you in that wholesale level. How to buy properties at a discount, how to buy them on negotiation, how to buy properties that you can flip, how to buy properties with no money down, how to buy properties that you can renovate with good money. And not just the ones you see on the TV show, the properties you can really renovate for good money and do a whole bunch of things. My book, The Real Estate Coach, goes into that one in a lot more detail. Then we're going to look at the share market. How you can see, once you've made a bit of money in the retail investing and starting the wholesale investing of business and property, you can then look at becoming a sophisticated or even a professional investor. And, if you need to find out about that, talk to your attorney or accountant about what that looks like. But in each area of the world, there's a different strategy or a different level at which you become that. And all of a sudden, you can participate in deals that the average investor cannot participate in. Those type of deals are going to give you a discount to the marketplace, okay? And immediately you're looking at a wholesale market, something that you're dealing in wholesale.